when we ask God to restore areas of our life, when we ask God to restore parts of our life, do not be surprised when things around you start disappearing. Do not be surprised when you feel like you left with less than what you had before. As I was reading the Bible, something that I noticed is that after God finishes punishing nations, he always restores the ones whose heart is turned towards him, the nations with repentant hearts. Now, you might think like, duh, that's all God wants. He wants our hearts to be towards him. Of course he gonna restore them. But what if our definition of restoration is different from God's definition of restoration? See, a lot of the times we think, I'm a victim of this thought. I thought that when we ask God to restore things, he'll legit bring back every single thing that we lost. Cars, the money, whatever, every single thing that we lost. But that's not the case. I think the way that God restores us is by giving us a clean slate, not by giving us everything that we lost. Because some of the things that we lose were in a pursuit of our own heart's desires. And I say that as in, let's say you have that business that you opened up, and it could have been a good business. You could have had a good reason to open that business, but the root of that business being open is for you to live a peaceful life. You could spend that money however you want to. You could look out for your family, yes, but you didn't open that business to advance God's kingdom. You didn't open that business to help God's people, to give to the poor, to just living. You didn't open that business as a part of God's will for your life. I don't, if that's the right way to say it, I'm still learning. Or let's say that lost car that you had no business trying to finance, knowing that your credit score lower than the price of a cheeseburger. Like, I don't think God restores those things. Instead, I think that he restores what kept your eyes fixated on him. Let's take Israel, for example. God punished Israel. God allowed them to be conquered due to their continuous unrepentant sin. But God later restored them, making them even greater because he removed from them what was in the way of their relationship. The idols, the false gods, the sleep with each other women, just the sin, like everything that was leading them astray, he removed from them. If you think of this in a literal sense, Israel was wiped completely dry. They were scattered and slaves to other kings. They had nothing. But it was there that God restored them. It was there that God brought them back together and made them greater. God had to remove things from in front of them so that they could fixate their eyes back on him. He had to remove what was in the way of their relationship. I say this to say that whenever we ask God to restore areas of our life, again, when we ask God to restore us back to what we were, anything, we shouldn't be surprised when things around us start disappearing. We shouldn't be surprised when we're left with less than what we had before. Because a lot of these things that we work to get, that we put our time into, these things can and will get in the way of our relationship with Christ. At the end of the day, Christ is not concerned with how that car make you feel, with how that money make you feel, with how that woman, with how that job make you feel. He's concerned about your spirit, your soul. He's worried about, not worried, sorry God, but he is concerned about your salvation. He don't care about this world, because this world, all this stuff in the world is gonna pass away, but your soul lives on forever. He is concerned about your well-being. So that was an amazing word, man. Do not be surprised when you could be going through this right now. If you feel like you don't have anything, you left with less whenever you ask God to remove people from your life or whatever, do not, we're not robots, of course, we all have emotions, but do not feel anger towards God. Do not feel any type of resentment. It's okay to be sad, but it's not okay to sit in it. You know what I'm saying? God will separate you. God will remove the things that hindered your relationship with him. Do not be surprised when stuff start disappearing, man.